Hello, this is Talmir and welcome to another repair video. In this video, we're looking at this Note 9, and there's an oddity. I'm just taking the label off the back that identifies the person that I'm repairing this for. But this Note 9, it has an issue with the screen. Now, the screen itself, you can't see much with it. I'll show you a sec underneath with a better picture. But I'm going to take off this protective, whatever this is, really weird gooey looking screen protector. It's got a noticeable crack right through the center of the screen, and I'm wondering if that's going all the way through, and maybe that, like the customer is saying, that it's causing the screen, just the phone isn't turning on or anything. So originally they said it needs a screen replacement. It definitely needs a screen replacement. We'll get into that. I do have some other screws on the board that's from working on an iPhone XR, so I apologize for the excess mess of confusion from that. But I'm gonna dig in. I've never done a screen replacement on a Note 9 before, but it's very similar. Like, you've got a full frame that you've got in there, so it's going to be basically moving parts from one phone over to another. But let's start off with testing. Let's start off with just plugging the phone in and seeing what it does. Using my tester. That feels, well, the screen definitely needs replacing. Oh, that hurts the eyes. The port itself feels odd. I'm just going to go in there with some tweezers and feel about, see if there is something just sticking in there. Yeah. There's a lump of something at the bottom. Ah, that's much better. Oh, it's still bugging my eyes, though. I'll just cover up that screen as much as possible. I think that's slow charging right there. It's really trickle charging. You can see half the screen at least. That is so promising. Like, they said it wouldn't turn on, but it's obviously turning on at least. It's possible maybe that it was so badly, I don't know, the charger wasn't going in well enough, and so they thought, oh, it's not working at all. But yeah, that's doing good enough. That's charging well enough for me. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. I want to see a little bit of a charge into there, at least turn the phone on. And at that point, if I can see the phone turn on, then I'll be happy enough to go ahead and do the screen replacement. So it's turning on. I just want to see it boot all the way into the lock screen. That's all we're hoping for. Your phone is encrypted for security. To start your device, enter your PIN. Oh, that's as far as we're going then. Okay, that's fine. I've never seen that before. Okay, well, I'm going to flip this over. That's the screen is just going nuts. The digitizer is not happy. I got to get that back off, and then we're going to start working on this. Usual way that I do it, especially with this particular type of back cover, is to put the blade in and a little bit of alcohol, lots of heat, and hopefully we can get this off without breaking it. I've done that only, I think, once or twice ever. Let's make sure that there isn't another occasion, especially around these. This is the bottom part of the phone. That's a major weak point. Well, there you go, guys. I broke the back cover. And I did it with a plastic card. A plastic card broke it. Now, I've got another Note 9 sitting around somewhere, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to see if the back cover on that one is still in good condition. This one is pretty scratched up, as it is. So if the back cover on that Note 9 is in okay condition, I'm going to use that one instead. I am shocked that that broke so easily. I'm very disappointed. And I found it. It's not the same color. I'm going to talk to the customer first and just see what they say, if they are fine with it being this color instead. How did that break so easily? That is so heartbreaking. Alright, customer's been informed, and we're going to see if I can use that back cover instead. Let's continue working away at this. And that actually came out pretty easily. So I'm going to define that what happened right here is me being, I'd say, too quick on the trigger for that. I need it to be a little bit slower in order to get through that, and that's on me. I feel pretty gutted about it because the rest of that came apart very easily. That is so sad. Such a small amount of damage. That's the customer's back cover though, and it wasn't cracked before, so it needs to be replaced. Let's get this off. That's the sensor. That's out. And I got a bunch of screws I gotta get out of there. Immediately disconnect the battery, and we're gonna start moving these parts over to the new screen. Okay, so I've immediately disconnected the power, and there's some ribbon cables here and there, ribbon cables here and there that you got to disconnect. These cameras, put those over here. They come out pretty easily. See, Google? Look at that. 2 different connectors, 2 different shapes, 2 different camera sizes. There's no way you can get those confused. I'm griping because of the Google Pixel 3 with its identical camera ribbon connectors. Ugh, destroyed an entire Google Pixel 3 because the cameras had interchangeable connectors. You could put them in either spot. So I believe that the rest of the screws that are on this board are the same, except these 2. And I'm going off partially from memory on that, but also because I've never done a screen replacement before from them, but I have worked on a Note 9 before. And this is a nifty little card that they've added in. It shows that there's 3 screws in here that are different from all the rest. And I can confirm that from memory, that those screws that are in here, I ended up making sure that they were in there different from all the others. I'm just going to make sure that I put them somewhere safe and in their own little pile. If you go and you put the other screws in those spots, it'll damage the screen if you use these in that spot there. Let's just put this back together for now. That is a really cool little card. I'm impressed by that. Good on them. Let's take a look at the size of those screws. Let's first take out this one, and I'm going to compare it to the others. And it is definitely a smaller size. And this screw isn't one of the ones that they marked. How about that? That's interesting. So they need to update that little piece of paper that they have got going there. This one is also, I believe, a different size from these. It is. These are all motherboard screws is what I'm going to define them as. These ones here came out of the motherboard. These ones here came out of the charge port and the 3.5mm jack. Oh, there's one screw up here as well. And that looks like it's about the same size as all these as well. Let's just do a quick look over it. I'm not just looking for screws, I'm looking for water damage. It's pristine though, I gotta say. Okay, before you take this out, you gotta take this little guy out. If you don't take it out, motherboard doesn't come out. No other trays to take out. Very good. At this point, we should be able to take this board out as well, just like that. Excellent. Now let's put that to the side. Let's see what has been left in place and what hasn't. Sometimes they leave some little giblets behind. These are, as far as I can remember, refurbished screens. Sometimes they leave little giblets in place. Like one time I found that they left the battery in. Other times I've seen them leave other things. Yeah, so like they've got the buttons in place. They've got this earpiece. They've left that in place, which is great. Okay, there's definitely something that we got to take out for that. Looks like it's some sensors. I want to test the board first before I do anything else though. So let's move on. We're going to take that battery out and give this thing a test. Okay, that's out. I'm not going to worry about the charge port yet. I just want to see the screen turn on. I might have to put the wireless charger back in. Just as it is, I'm leaving a lot of stuff disconnected. There we go. Battery's connected up. Let's just see if it turns on. It's got about 23–24% battery in it now. If it doesn't turn on, it's because this is required to be in place. It's not turning on. Okay. Let's just see if pushing right there allows me enough of a connection to turn it on. Still nothing. Why is it not turning on? Maybe it really does want the charge port to be connected for it to work. Okay. I'm going to heat this up with a heat gun, and I should be able to get it out. Okay, I think that's enough. That should be enough to at least get us going. Let's see if it turns on now. There we go. Not 100% sure which part it was that needed it, but it was probably the charge port itself. Okay, very good. This is just the regular unlock screen. I'm going to use the emergency call feature just to make sure everything is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Test codes are locked out. That's annoying, but this is good enough for me. It is working, and that is what is important. Let's turn the phone off, and we can start putting this back together now. You gotta finish putting all the other sensors back in. So let's get these temporary screws out. Okay, we gotta get this little guy out of here. We gotta figure out a way. I'm gonna heat it up. Start off with that. I think all we got left is that Taptic motor there, and we're done. Transferring over all the parts at least. Put a little bit of alcohol underneath the speaker. Here. With everything finally in place, including right down to the Taptic motor there, vibrate motor, whatever I'll call it, we're ready to go and put this creature on in. This goes in a bit later. I did get in contact with the customer, and they were perfectly fine with me putting in the blue back cover instead. Thank goodness. Really shows the importance of taking things slowly. So you just got those cameras to put back in, and now we just gotta get those screws in. Now, from what I remember, these are all the exact same, and you can tell where these are supposed to go because you got these copper circles that are going around certain parts of the board. Just doing another test, I've discovered that I'm pretty sure it really was the charge port it wanted to see for it to connect, because I don't have anything connected on the back, and it turned on perfectly fine. I'm just doing, as I said, another test. That's working good. They do have some adhesive that they've prepped for this particular screen, which is really nice of them. Time to chuck that battery in. I always like to connect it first before putting it onto the adhesive. That way you know that it's lined up properly. Here we go. Give it a firm push. Now, do not forget to take out the stylus from the old screen. This slips in right there. This goes in afterwards. I also noticed that the button is it worn out or is it just dirty? No, it's worn out. Okay, well, it is what it is. You know, you might wonder why this isn't sitting perfectly flat. There's this little bit of a lip right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right there. And that lip prevents this from sitting completely flat. And if it's not sitting perfectly flat, you just want to take it back out, try to get that part in first, and then once that's in, you'll notice that it's not going down any further. Now you got to snap it in place, like that. So that's all went in properly. Now we can move on to the bottom. You're going to hook this underneath here, like that. Okay, that seems to be doing the trick quite well. Let's get these screws in, and then after that I'll put that button in. All right, there we have it. The new back on. New. It is what it is. It's a lot better condition, actually, than the old one. I mean, aside the crack. I sure would have preferred to have kept the original, as the IMEI number is not correct. I'll just do a final test, really. There we go. Turned on well. And just peel that away. Oh, it's beautiful. And that's all there is to it. This phone is now done. And I mean, I'm not pleased with the fact that I had to put a new back on it. I've had this only happen about I think twice in all the time that I've done replacements on Android devices. Those two times though, they're really smart. This now takes 3 times. That busted guy all the way to this one. Now before I forget, you also have to put the SIM tray back in. Customer would be very unhappy if that was not there. And that's all there is really to this video. If you guys liked the video, please do leave a like. And if you want to see more of my stuff, subscribe. We'll see you guys all in another video. Bye.